Yes, Coolio. Are you ready?
Big Rich Music.
I'm ready. Let me.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Ways to Better Living. As always, this is your host Coolio, bringing you another topic of discussion, Pt.9, dealing with laws. And today's topic will be on dealing with the law that's there to set laws. This is the reason why I'm dealing with this particular one is since I gave my update on the last episode of this might be my last for a while, so I decided to do this so everyone can understand exactly how the law that's there for lawmakers to make laws and the ones responsible for such. So a lot of people do not know that there is an actual law that's set in place for people who make laws. And so this is the reason why I decided to do this particular one, so it will open the eyes of other people, since the public do not know exactly all the laws that are there. You only can find out about the law when you get charged with it. And then for the most common ones that I've dealt with that people do know, but there are more that people do not know. And this one will give you an insight and in-depth to a law that you never heard about. No one in the public knew even such law existed. So this is the law that's the one I'm going to consider. So now I give you all this brief so you understand exactly where it's heading. So this law, it's not there for, like I mentioned, for the public per se, but it is a law that's there for the people who do make the law. Majority of the time are judges. And why this law is there in place is so that the judge have, which a lot of people do know, that the judge, when you go there, everything is passed. The judge got the final say in passing the judgment and sentencing when it comes down to everything. So, and it's because of this law that gives them that right to be able to do such. And in order for them to be able to do this law also gives them the ability to instigate a law to come in place by the type of case they deal with. Yes, the case might be similar as to, but according to all the evidence that is provided, then you can be able to decide how the judge can decide how they can put a sentence in place based on the evidence that can instigate a law tagged to the existing law that's already there, which these are where when you hear in court about section this, section that's where this law come from. Those sections, as you in a way you call them sub laws, as to tag to the law that's already there, as to manslaughter or whatever the law is. And this subsection that they usually said subsection this and give you numbers and letters, but these are sub laws that attach. And so this law that's in place is there for the judges to be able to make that these laws exist. Because when you look, And this is something that, as I mentioned, it's not, the laws are there actually, that people do not know what all the laws are there, what it is, and what it all consists of, because of all these tags that they got to it, that in time, as time goes on, judges making decision, and then they gotta revise the law and add, because of that judge, the judgment that they make in passing sentence, they create a subsection and tag it along. So what this also does is create a loophole also for people who do not get actual justice, for them, others to be able to use that for justice not to be served in proper case. But this law, as I mentioned, as it is there for the judges mostly, they also have the responsibility of following the law that they sit behind, which is, we all hear about, and this law is general, it's mostly there also for the police officers that and your military, but anyway, it is there mostly for the ones who make decisions as to the judge, or if you already like been in criminal cases and you're going through payroll that they call the review board. So the states they call it that, and everyone got the different depending on where you're at. And these also, they sit behind that law for them to uphold what, in a way, they take the law as an oath to be able to sit on that law and be able to come up with the subsection of all these in order for them to be able to bring about justice in whatever is in front of them, the matter that's in front of them. And this is where it gets crucial for a lot of judges and going through that. That's why it takes a long time. If you see the ones who had about this, you gotta first become a lawyer, and then I keep going up the ladder till you become a judge. And even when you get to be a judge, you have to, at least for you to be able to, for this law to be in effect under you as a judge, you have to already know the in-depth of the law itself, because now you're not only a judge, now you've become a lawmaker. And so since you're a lawmaker, the law is there for you. So always, and this law is usually, the best way I will put it is the law of justice. That is the law you sit behind for just you to serve justice. So you there not only for these laws, but your law that you follow is the law of justice, which is something that people hear a lot, that justice is not done. Justice is not done. It's because of this particular law. The law itself, it's not, even the laws that all surround that people deal with in a normal basis, they're all under this law of justice, and the judge that sits there, that is their duty to follow that law, as to not only make decision based on black or white, but also as to common sense, which you have to look at the practicality of the situation as to how the law that you upholding take place, so you can be able to bring about justice where both parties can be satisfied as to justice being served. and that is the law they sit behind. And it is, I'm doing my best to explain a lot about it so that people will understand exactly what this. It's not just like, it's just a one law itself that for them that is there. That is why when you go to court, they said we're going to get justice done. That because people know they use that word, but a lot of people didn't know that it's an actual law itself that sits for the one that's giving you the coming to the conclusion. So in some, for people who live in villages and towns, they don't go to court to deal with matters. They call them chief or town. What they got different names for them, but in a way, it's people who sit behind the community guideline. That if people break things about the community guideline, they go see these people, and they got the head that will oversee everything and come to pass a judgment on as to what was this person done wrong and how to solve it and all that issue. So now with that says, since it is not something that, though people do have a knowledge that it's justice being served and blah blah blah, but at the same time people do not understand it is actually a law itself that's there for the ones that do sit in court, which are the judges, to be able to uphold. Because that law, that is why a lot of the time people do go after them, these ones also, and be able to say, oh, this judge did not do justice for me, so I'm going to go fight the case again so I can get justice done with another judge in place. Because some of them, that's why lawyers do advise that as well, but they will not tell you that it's an actual law that's there. But they always say, oh, you could fight it this way. It's because of that law itself that's there. And this law is the one that you can hold any judge to, so that they can follow that law as to why they are there to let justice. As they said, that's the oath they take, but it's the law they took up that they're gonna uphold that particular law as to justice. So with that says, as always, this is your host Coolio saying God bless and hope you all have a wonderful time.
One thing that will make it better is to have compassion, understanding, and the love that comes with great care, so that you will show respect for everyone, as that's what I want. So next time you think of asking me, what do I want? Remember that what I want is for you to love each other, and the manner of love and care for each other as to show compassion, patience, and respect.